Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So this article came out yesterday. I saw it on Twitter, 14 common misunderstandings about Ripple and XRP. And it's essentially an article that talks about all the great points regarding Ripple, XRP, and how despite the negative light that Ripple and XRP has been cast under, that these are the truths, and this guy here, Thomas Silkjar, is busting some FUD. That's all fine and good and whatnot. I'm not too interested about that part. What I am interested in is the fact that Forbes, only about a week after publishing this article, Is Ripple a Scam by Jason Bloomberg, basically laying out a whole whack of points as to why Ripple and XRP is a scam and that you should be careful. Forbes, yes, Forbes, the same website, the same magazine, decides to change their tune and post this. Now, is this just an incident of an unbiased website posting an article that talks about Ripple and XRP in a negative light, and then they decide to post this article here by another one of their contributors, dispelling the myths about Ripple and XRP? I highly doubt it. I think that they got a lot of backlash from this D-Bags article here. They didn't realize the XRP army was going to come at him at full force. Like, duh, what did you guys think was going to happen? And so what they did was, they obviously have a bunch of contributors on this website, and so Thomas Silkjar, who is indeed an XRP enthusiast and a Forbes contributor, decided to write this article here, and Forbes decided to publish it. So maybe just optics, I think. Damage control, perhaps. I think it's possible. I don't think Forbes wants to come out looking like an XRP basher, even though they so blatantly have made decisions to do so. Again, guys, just be careful where you get your information. Always look at multiple sources and use your best judgment. Do your research on what these companies, what their MOs are, who backs them, who funds them, what their backgrounds are. Forbes is now owned by a Chinese company, and we know in China there is a huge push for Bitcoin. They control the majority of Bitcoin mining in China, so just something to look out for, guys. Media literacy is very important, and yes, usually I would talk about why these points are great, but in this case I wanted to focus more on where these comments are coming from, what websites are publishing them, and what that means. Let's continue on though. Present-day cryptocurrencies cannot replace the current financial system, says Kaspersky. And so let me read you a little bit of this. Eugene Kaspersky joined a list of major personalities with opinions on Bitcoin after he said that the coin was great, but its mainstream adoption by replacing traditional financial institutions was likely to take a century, and that the world was not ready to embrace them yet. In a recent interview with the Dubai-based media house Arabian Business, the Russian cybersecurity expert and the CEO of Kaspersky Labs, Eugene Kaspersky said that while cryptocurrencies will eventually disrupt the financial space, there has to be a single governance across the world. He said cryptocurrencies are a great idea, but the world is not ready for them yet. The world must be united if we want to have encrypted cryptocurrencies. At the moment, governments want to control them. The CEO maintained that the digital currencies will be successful only if the governments quit trying to control them. He further asserted that the current financial system can leverage the blockchain technology to bring about modifications. That, to me, is the most interesting part of this. We know Bitcoin isn't going to take over the world's financial system. By the way, if you guys don't know, Eugene Kaspersky is this guy here. He created basically another version of an antivirus software. He's kind of like a John McAfee type, created Kaspersky antivirus software. So that's his background, if you guys didn't know. And what he says is pretty level-headed. Cryptocurrencies are not going to take over the world's financial system, at least not today. But the fact that we have them, we're moving in the right direction. This point down here, though, is what I find very interesting. He further asserts that the current financial system can leverage the blockchain technology to bring about modifications. And so that just goes back to the fact that, look, we're not replacing fiat anytime soon. But what is the technology that will make our current financial system better? That will, in fact, enhance our financial system? Well, RippleNet and using XRP to facilitate those transfers. Okay, everything is kind kind of set in place for XRP to succeed. There's not going to be an overthrow of the government. We're in a financial landscape that has been the status quo and that will ultimately remain the status quo. But what we will see along the way are little enhancements, right? Technology upgrades in order to make the financial system better. Unfortunately, there are no current laws about cryptocurrencies right now, and so that's what governments are working on. They're working on laws for cryptocurrencies, not for Bitcoin to take over the world, but instead they're doing it for companies like Ripple to be able to conduct business using them in a business setting. The whole idea that banks won't or can't or will or want to hold cryptocurrencies, i.e. The digital asset XRP, in order to facilitate transactions. That is a legal issue, a securities issue, and this is why we needed to see clarity. We needed to declare XRP as not being a security, because when banks hold securities, there are a different set of rules and regulations that go along with that. So this is why the cryptocurrency, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, why does this matter? Why do we even need these rules about XRP being a security? Why do we have to define them in a certain way? Why can't banks just use the system and just run with it? Well, obviously, that's not the world we live in, and unfortunately, these are the challenges we face at this moment. Nevertheless, I think this is still good news. XRP is on track. They have always been compliant. They want to work with government. They want to work with banks, and they want to work with the system, providing liquidity for cross-border transactions using the XRP token. That's good for us XRP holders. Finally here, just wanted to show you guys this XRP veterans chart here, or somebody created this chart. I saw it from XRP Veteran. That's at XRP_veteran. If you guys are not following him on Twitter, you probably should. And it's this graph here with inflation silently robbing you of purchasing power since 1913. And it shows a $20 bill and what it could buy you in 1998, 2005, 2014, 2017, and 2021. I don't know if you guys can see it here, a single box of Tic Tacs. I mean, this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but it is pretty funny, ultimately demonstrating and illustrating the fact that our dollar is being devalued every single year. That is called inflation, and the opposite is what we have seen with cryptocurrencies. One Bitcoin used to be able to buy you not so much in 2011, a little more in 2013, even more in 2014. By 2017, look at how much you could buy. And by 2021, the prediction is 3 Lambos, I guess, or 3 hot cars, and a whole grocery cart full of stuff, including, I don't know, oh, these are computers, Apple computers. And that is deflation, protecting you from the Federal Reserve since 2009. So quite an accurate picture this paints, in my opinion, right? Although cryptocurrencies aren't going to take over the current financial system, they still will have a place in our society. Whether we buy and hold the asset like a digital gold, for example, like Bitcoin, a store of value that will keep increasing, or rather, hopefully keep increasing in value over the years, or whether we hold XRP, the best digital asset on earth that will actually help facilitate the current monetary system that we use today, making it that much better, that much more efficient. All these digital assets have their place in the world. It's just a matter of how big you think each one will get. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.